What if the greatest prison you will ever live in is the one you cannot see? Not made of walls or bars, but built from the beliefs you've been handed since the day you were born. You've been told what is possible and what is too far out of reach. You've been taught to measure your dreams against the limits of those who came before you, as if their ceiling must also be yours. But those limits aren't truths. They are opinions, fears, and doubts passed down like a family heirloom, accepted without question. Somewhere along the way, you stopped asking yourself what you were truly capable of. You started living inside an invisible cage. That cage is made of thoughts. Thoughts you didn't even choose. A teacher, a parent, a friend, maybe even a stranger planted seeds of doubt in your mind. You were told to be realistic, as if realism meant shrinking to fit a life that doesn't inspire you. And because you heard it enough, you believed it. This is what psychologists call learned helplessness. The moment the mind stops trying because it assumes the outcome will be failure. But here's the truth. Your limits are only as real as you allow them to be. Every time you take someone else's belief about what is possible and accept it as your own, you build another wall in that cage. Right now, there's a dream inside you that feels impossible. Maybe you've hidden it so deep you hardly admit it exists. You tell yourself it's too big, too far, too risky. But that dream is not random. It's the purest signal from your soul, calling you toward the life you were meant to live. The reason it scares you is because it matters. The reason it feels impossible is because it will require you to grow into someone you've never been. And that is exactly why you must pursue it. The world doesn't change when you accept limits. It changes when you challenge them. Every breakthrough in history began with someone who refused to believe the voices that said, "You can't." The most dangerous words you can ever believe are, "That's just the way it is." The moment you decide those words are lies, the walls around you start to crack. You begin to see that the prison door was never locked. You could have walked out at any time you have a choice. You can keep living inside the cage, repeating the same days until they blur into years, wondering what might have been. Or you can step into the unknown, knowing fear will follow, but freedom will meet you there. This isn't just about chasing a dream, it's about reclaiming your life. Because once you realize the only limits that matter are the ones you refuse to accept, you become unstoppable. And that's when your real life begins. Fear will always be the first voice to greet you when you step outside the lines you've been living in. It will dress itself in logic, in caution, in the appearance of wisdom. It will remind you of every failure you've ever had, every rejection, every time you felt small. It will paint vivid pictures of loss and humiliation, convincing you that staying still is safer than moving forward. But fear is not your enemy. Fear is proof you are standing at the doorway of change. It only shows up when you are about to challenge something that has held you back for too long. The presence of fear means you are touching the edges of growth. Your mind is designed to protect you from the unknown. It is wired to magnify danger, to anticipate pain before it happens. This was once a survival instinct, but now it has become a barrier between you and the life you desire. The mind thinks it is saving you, but in reality, it is keeping you trapped in the familiar. The safest place for fear to keep you is where you've always been, even if that place is suffocating. Recognize this truth. Comfort is not safety, it is slow death. Every day you stay in it, your potential withers a little more. The only way to weaken fear is to act in its presence. Waiting for it to disappear is a lie that will steal your years. Courage does not appear first, action does. The moment you move toward what you fear, you prove to yourself that it is survivable. You teach your mind a new lesson, that fear is a signal to go forward, not turn back. Every step you take through fear rewires your brain, building a pattern of bravery that no one can take from you. Fear thrives in stillness but starves in motion. The first step might shake your voice, make your hands tremble, make your heart race, but it is the most important step you will ever take. Because once you do, you break the illusion that fear is stronger than you. You begin to understand that fear is just energy, and you can choose where to direct it. You can let it chain you to a life you don't want, or you can turn it into fuel to propel you toward one you do. The truth is, you will never be ready in the way you think you should be. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. You decide you are ready when you refuse to let fear decide for you. And when you choose courage over comfort, something extraordinary happens. The fear that once felt overwhelming becomes the proof that you are exactly where you are meant to be. That is where transformation begins, and where the limits you thought were real start to fall apart. The mind you have today is not the mind you must live with forever. It is not fixed, it is not permanent, and it is not the full measure of your potential. Every belief, every habit, every limitation that feels like part of who you are is nothing more than a program written by repetition. The science is clear. The brain changes when it is challenged. Every time you think a new thought, every time you take a new action, you carve a new pathway in your mind. Those pathways can lead you toward the life you want or keep you circling the one you're trying to escape. Which direction they take is entirely in your hands. Your thoughts are not random, they are shaped by what you focus on most. If you constantly feed your mind with doubts, you strengthen the part of you that hesitates. If you feed it with vision, possibility, and belief, you awaken the part of you that dares. The brain is like a muscle. It grows stronger in the areas you use most. When you imagine what could be instead of what could go wrong, you train yourself to see opportunity where you once only saw obstacles. This is not blind optimism. It is deliberate conditioning. It is the conscious choice to stop rehearsing failure in your mind and start rehearsing victory. You are not here to live inside the boundaries you inherited. You are here to redraw them. Thinking beyond limits begins with a question: what if there was more life, more possibility, more of you than you've ever allowed yourself to express? That single question is enough to open the door to everything else. Because when you stop telling yourself what cannot be done, you start asking how it can be done. And that shift changes everything. The mind resists at first. It will try to pull you back into the familiar, not because it is right, but because it is known. It will warn you that bigger dreams mean bigger risks. But risk is not the enemy. The real danger is letting your life shrink to fit the size of your current thinking. You can rewire your mind to see uncertainty as adventure, to see the unknown as the place where your next level is waiting. This is how transformation happens, not by accident, but by intentionally stretching the edges of what you believe is possible. You are not bound by the person you were yesterday. Every thought you choose today is shaping the person you will become tomorrow. That is the power you carry in this moment. You can accept the limits you've been living with, or you can challenge them. And when you choose to challenge them, you are no longer just dreaming. You are creating a new mind, a new reality, and a new life that no one can take from you. Small dreams feel comfortable because they rarely demand that you risk your pride, your comfort, or your certainty. They keep you close to what you already know, where you can predict the outcome before you even begin. But that safety has a cost far greater than failure. It quietly steals the fire from your spirit. It keeps you in a loop of days that look the same, years that pass without meaning, and a life that feels smaller than it should. The danger of small dreams is not that they won't come true. The danger is that they will, and you will realize too late that they were never enough. When you aim small, you rob yourself of the growth that only comes from chasing something that challenges you. Big dreams force you to evolve. They push you to face fears, learn new skills, and endure discomfort. They call out strengths you didn't know you had and demand that you use them. Without that stretch, you remain in the same shape you've always been, never discovering the depth of what you can become. The truth is, your potential does not reveal itself when life is easy. It appears when life demands more from you than you think you can give. The world will never reward you for hiding. It will not hand you a life you have not fought for. Comfort will try to convince you it is kindness, but it is a quiet trap. You are not made to fit neatly inside the expectations of others. You are made to expand, to reach, to go beyond. Playing small may keep you from rejection, but it will also keep you from the exhilaration of living fully. The risk of trying and falling short is nothing compared to the ache of never trying at all. Regret is heavier than failure. It is a weight you carry for the rest of your life because it cannot be undone. You can recover from mistakes, you can rise after defeat, but you cannot rewrite the days you chose not to act. Every dream you abandon becomes a shadow that follows you, whispering what could have been. You may think you are avoiding pain by aiming lower, but you are only trading one kind of pain for another, and the pain of regret will always cut deeper. You have a choice every single day. You can live in the comfort of what is safe, or you can step into the possibility of what is extraordinary. Big dreams will demand more from you, but they will also give more back. They will give you growth, purpose, and the satisfaction of knowing you did not waste the gift of your life. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you are willing to live in a way that makes you proud when the story ends. Every great dream will be tested, not once, but many times. Life will challenge your patience, your resilience, and your faith in yourself. The moment you commit to something bigger, obstacles will rise as if to ask, how badly do you want this? This is not punishment. It is preparation. The path to anything worth having is designed to shape you into someone who can hold it without breaking. Without resistance, you remain fragile. Without challenges, you remain unready. The strength you need will not be handed to you. It will be built in the moments you want to give up but don't. Mental strength is not born in comfort. It is forged in the moments you stand back up after being knocked down. Every setback carries the temptation to quit. But if you can see it differently, as a lesson, as a teacher, as part of your training, it loses its power to destroy you. The pain you feel in the fight is not a signal that you're failing. It is proof that you are growing. Endurance is built in the exact moment you think you have none left. And each time you push through, you become harder to stop. The voice inside your mind will often be the loudest obstacle. It will tell you the struggle is too much, that you should lower your expectations, that maybe you're not cut out for this. That voice is not truth. It is habit. It is the echo of every doubt you've ever absorbed. You have the ability to rewrite that voice. You can choose words that fuel you instead of weaken you. Every time you speak strength to yourself instead of surrender, you reinforce the belief that you can endure. And that belief is what carries you through the storms. You will face criticism from others, but it will only matter if you have not yet silenced the critic within. Once you master your own thoughts, no opinion can derail you. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about refusing to be defined by it. You are more than any single moment of defeat. You are the sum of every time you refuse to stay down. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when all your effort seems to lead nowhere. Those are the most important days to keep going. The results may not appear immediately, but the person you are becoming in the process is already forming. Every step, every attempt, every refusal to quit is stacking in your favor. The future you are building will thank you for not surrendering when it was hard. And when the day comes that you finally break through, you will realize the obstacles were never in the way. They were the way. The people you surround yourself with will either fuel your fire or quietly drain it. Human energy is contagious, and without realizing it, you absorb the attitudes, habits, and beliefs of those around you. If you spend your time with people who doubt themselves, complain, and settle, you will slowly start doing the same, not because you want to, but because the environment you live in shapes the person you become. Your vision will feel heavier when those near you cannot see it. Your courage will weaken when you are surrounded by those who fear change. This is why protecting your circle is not selfish. It is necessary. You need voices around you that lift your thinking higher, not anchor it lower. People who challenge you to stretch beyond your comfort instead of keeping you small so they feel safe. Seek those who speak possibility, who have walked paths that prove it can be done, who see in you the potential you sometimes forget you have. These are the people who will remind you why you started when you feel like stopping. They will hold you accountable to the life you said you wanted, not the one you are tempted to settle for when things get hard. Sometimes protecting your vision means creating distance from those who cannot understand it. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with the quiet recognition that your paths are different. It is not your job to convince others to believe in your dream. It is your job to protect it until it becomes real. And in that process, you will find that the right people will be drawn to you. Energy moves toward energy. When you live with clarity and determination, those who share your mindset will naturally appear. Be mindful of what you allow into your mental space. Every conversation, every piece of advice, every opinion is either feeding your vision or starving it. Learn to recognize the difference. You do not have to accept every voice into your world. You do not have to carry every opinion as truth. Your dream is too important to let it be weakened by those who cannot see past their own fears. The truth is, your environment can either accelerate your growth or poison it slowly. It can inspire you to rise or pull you back into mediocrity without you even realizing it. The people closest to you will influence how far you go, not by controlling your actions, but by shaping the way you think. Choose carefully. Surround yourself with those who believe in progress, in possibility, and in the power of relentless effort. Protect your vision as you would protect your life, because in many ways, it is your life. And once you guard it fiercely, you will find that your dreams grow stronger, your courage grows deeper, and the path ahead becomes clearer than it has ever been. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Dreams remain distant when they rely only on bursts of motivation. Motivation can fade with mood, with weather, with circumstance. Discipline does not care how you feel in the moment. It moves regardless. It is the quiet force that turns vision into reality. The habit of showing up even when your mind offers 100 reasons to wait. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. Small, repeated actions compound over time until they become unstoppable momentum. Every choice you make feeds one of two futures, the one you desire or the one you fear. Skipping the work feels harmless in the moment, but each decision plants a seed. If you feed the habit of avoidance, you grow a life of regret. If you feed the habit of action, you grow a life of achievement. The gap between the life you have and the life you want is not crossed by leaps of inspiration. It is crossed by the steady steps you take each day, especially on the days you least feel like taking them. Discipline trains your mind to separate what you want most from what you want now. In every moment, there will be a temptation to choose comfort over progress, to take the easy path that demands nothing but gives nothing in return. Discipline reminds you of the cost of those choices. It sharpens your focus on the bigger picture, the deeper purpose, the long-term reward that makes the sacrifice worth it. And each time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen the muscle that will carry you when motivation is nowhere to be found. It is not enough to work hard only when it is convenient. True discipline is forged in the moments you push forward despite discomfort, fatigue, or boredom. These are the moments that separate those who dream from those who achieve. When you honor your commitments to yourself, you build trust in your own word. And when you trust yourself fully, you become unshakable. You stop negotiating with excuses because you know you will keep going no matter how you feel. The world will not hand you the results you want simply because you wish for them. It will hand them to the one who has shown up day after day, long after others have quit. Discipline makes you that person. It makes you dangerous to failure because you refuse to stop moving forward. And once you understand this truth, you realize the power has always been in your hands. Not in waiting for the perfect time, not in hoping for easier conditions, but in the simple, deliberate act of doing the work every single day until the life you envisioned is no longer a dream. It is the life you are living. Your greatest growth will always live on the other side of discomfort. Every human instinct is wired to protect you from pain, to keep you safe within familiar walls. But safety is not where transformation happens. The life you are capable of living is not hiding in what you already know. It waits in the places that make your hands shake, your heart race, your mind doubt. Comfort is a cage disguised as peace. Discomfort is the doorway to becoming who you were meant to be. Fear will whisper that stepping forward is dangerous. It will remind you of past failures and magnify the risk of trying again. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a sign you are standing on the edge of something important. The mind creates fear to protect the version of you that exists today, unaware that growth requires letting that version go. If you only walk paths that feel easy, you will only arrive where you have already been. The moments that change your life will rarely feel comfortable in real time. They will test your patience, stretch your endurance, and challenge your belief in yourself. But every time you push through discomfort, you expand your limits. What once felt impossible begins to feel natural. Your comfort zone grows with you, and soon you are capable of more than you once imagined. This is the process by which ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. Discomfort is not the enemy. Avoiding it is. Every avoided challenge teaches your mind to shrink from opportunity. Each time you choose the harder path, you prove to yourself that you can survive more than you thought. That proof is powerful. It builds unshakable confidence, not the shallow kind that comes from words, but the deep, unmovable kind that comes from experience. When you know you can endure, you stop fearing the unknown. This is how transformation feels. Messy, uncertain, often exhausting, but it is in those moments of uncertainty that your future is being rewritten. Discomfort strips away the illusions of weakness and reveals the strength you have always had. It forces you to dig deeper, to adapt, to sharpen your focus until all that remains is your determination. The struggle itself becomes the training ground for the life you want to live. You are not made to hide from challenge. You are made to rise to it. Every step into discomfort plants the seeds of your next victory. It shapes a mind that is resilient, a heart that is courageous, and a spirit that refuses to be broken. The pain of growth is temporary, but the rewards are lasting. Walk toward the place that scares you, because on the other side is not just a better life, it is a stronger, braver, unstoppable version of you. The strength you seek is not found in waiting for the perfect moment, It is forged in the moments you act despite uncertainty. Life will never arrange itself into a flawless sequence where every variable feels safe. That illusion keeps people frozen, dreaming of change but never touching it. Progress belongs to those who move forward even when the path is unclear, even when every step feels heavier than the last. The willingness to act without guarantees is the mark of those who rise above the ordinary. Hesitation is a thief. It steals momentum, it drains courage, and it convinces you that tomorrow will be easier. But tomorrow does not create itself. It is built by the choices you make now. When you wait, the mountain in front of you only grows taller in your mind. When you move, even a small step forward breaks the grip of fear. Action reshapes reality. It turns thoughts into proof, doubts into lessons, and dreams into tangible progress. Every powerful change begins with a single decision to no longer live as you have before. That decision does not require you to know every step ahead. It only demands that you trust yourself enough to begin. Once you start, the road begins to reveal itself. The fog clears, not because the journey became easy, but because you became stronger. With each move, you replace imagined limitations with lived experience. You discover that the world does not collapse when you take risks. Instead, it opens wider. Waiting for permission is another form of hiding. The world will not send you a perfect signal telling you it's time. You are that signal. You are the one who decides when to stop standing still. Courage is not built by reading about it or dreaming about it. It is built by doing. Every time you move forward in the face of fear, you reinforce the truth that you are capable of far more than your mind once allowed you to believe. There will be resistance. There will be voices, both around you and within you, that tell you to stay where you are. Those voices are loudest right before your breakthrough. They grow stronger because they sense the change that is coming. Do not listen. Let your movement speak louder than your doubts. Let the act of choosing yourself overpower every reason you've been given to hold back. You do not need to know exactly how the story ends to begin writing it. All you need is the courage to take the pen. Each action you take is a word, each step a sentence, each day a paragraph in the life you are creating. One day you will look back and realize the moment you stopped waiting was the moment everything started to change. The moment you claimed your power. The moment you began to dream beyond limits.